Okay, we're going to look at entering information and time into about time. And for this purpose of this demonstration, we're going to assume that the person waited to the end of the day to enter their time. And what I suggest is that you use some sort of form like what I have here on the screen and get that on paper first and get it situated in your mind as to how it should be and get it written out before you start entering it into about time. I think you'll find it'll go much faster. So for this purposes, I'm gonna use Jesus as a guinea pig here as my employee, and I'm gonna say that let's say that he came to the shop. His first job was at the shop, and let's say he had a safety meeting. That was his first clock in, and the time was 7 a.m. and that was for a half an hour. And I'm just following and he didn't have any machinery, obviously. I'm just following this form here. So then what job did he go to? Well, let's say that he went to High Point. And the first thing he worked on was footings. And that was, he clocked in there at 7:30. And that's because the 7 plus a half an hour worth of work, he's going to be at 7:30. The hours that he worked total on footings was 3. He had an hour on the 405 skid steer, and the start time was 42:44 on that machine, and the end time was 42:45. And I'm writing this information down so that I can use it when I do my field notes. Then what did he do? Okay, well, let's say he worked on curbs. So he had another clock in. This is going to be at 10:30 a.m. Again, because 7:30 and 3 get you to 10:30. He did that for, let's say, 2 hours, and he didn't have any machinery. Okay, well now let's say that, okay, that would put him at 12:30. So let's clock him out for lunch. This is going to be a clock out. It's going to be at 12:30 p.m. and for half an hour. And that is, in essence, his lunch. So I'll just make a note of that right here, just so I don't get confused myself. In fact, let's put this half an hour right here instead. Okay, what did he work on after lunch? Okay, let's say he went and did footings at Lindbergh Village. Alright, and so I said footings. He's going to clock in, and it'll be at 1 o'clock because he 12:30 and a half an hour for lunch. That's p.m. Let's say he did that for 3 hours, and one of those hours he was on the 701 trencher, and its machine start was 3801 to 3802, let's say. Okay, also let's say he also had to use a backhoe for the footings. And this is anytime you have a person operating more than one machine on the same task, you're going to need to do another clock in. So I'm going to put that same task, footings, clocked in, 4 p.m. Let's say he did that for an hour and a half, and all it was on the backhoe. And it was the 402 backhoe, and he did that for an hour and a half. I'm sorry, so that was machine time would be 10, start time 10, and 11 and a half. As an example, I don't know what the machine hours actually are. And then let's say he clocked out, which that's going to be from 4 to, in an hour and a half is going to be 5:30 p.m. Okay, so now we've got the outline of the employee's time in inputted into this matrix, spreadsheet, whatever you want to call it. Now we can enter in the times into about time. So the first thing we want to do is enter in our 4-digit PIN, which I'm going to do now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put in all the clock in and all the clock outs, one by one, coming down this chart. So I'm going to hit clock in. I'm going to hit Jesus in. I'm always going to hit change location, because that if you hit change location, you're always assured you're going to get the right tasks. If you don't hit change location, sometimes it won't give you, it's going to give you whatever tasks are in the default job, which in this case is sample location, which is no good. So you always want to hit yes. I'm going to go pick, since he was at the safety meeting, I want to hit shop. This one doesn't have a blue arrow next to it, so it has no children. The blue arrow indicates a parent job with children underneath it. You always, if you have a blue arrow, you always want to click the blue arrow and get the items underneath that, which you'll see that in a minute. For now, I'm going to hit shop, hit done. He was at a safety meeting. I'm going to select that, hit accept, hit OK. Now I'm going to go right to the next clock in. I'm not going to worry about the time for now. I'm just going to go straight in and hit clock in. So I'm going to work on this one here, right here. So that is Jesus again. I can hit select last. And that'll pick Jesus. Hit N. Change location is yes. I'm going to go to high point. I'm going to hit the blue arrow. And usually most always the way this works is the main job is at the bottom and all the change orders are above it. So I go to the bottom and I select high point again, hit done. Comes up and asks me what task. It was footings. So I'm going to come down here to footings. Select footings. Was there any machinery? Yes, there was. He used the 405 skid steer. So I'm going to come down here and pick the 405. And then I hit accept. So now I've got 2 clock ins. I'm going to go to the 3rd clock in. So I hit clock in again, select last, pick Jesus, hit N, change location, yes. High point, the blue arrow again, hit the job at the bottom, hit done. I'm going to pick curbs. Let's see, right here. There was no machinery for curbs, so I come to the top and hit no equipment. Hit select and then accept. So now I'm going to go down to this next one, which is an out. I'm going to say clock in or out, and I'm going to hit select last, pick Jesus again. I'm going to say out. So now I've done 3 ins and an out. I'm going to go to this next in. So I'm going to clock in, select last, clock in, change location, yes. I'm going to go to 456 Lindbergh Village. Hitting the blue arrow, hit 456 Lindbergh, hit done. I said it was footings. The equipment was a 701 trencher. select, and accept. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next end, and I got to have, because I had two pieces of equipment on the same task, I have to have another end here. And because later I'm going to change the units on my machines, and I have to have that a separate end to be able to do that. So I must clock in or out, select last, in, change location, yes. Blue arrow, 456 Limerick Village, done. Footings, equipment this time was the 402 backhoe. Select, accept. Okay, now I have a clock out. So I'm going to hit clock out, select last, select Jesus, and I'm going to click out. Okay, now I've got all the ins and outs in there. I'm going to go, the next thing I'm going to do is go to Records Manager and start changing the information and make it the way I want it. So hit Records Manager, spot check, and you'll notice that there are 3 green or 5 green and 2 red. The 5 greens are the in clock ins, and the reds are clock outs. So I'm going to fix the times on the clock outs first. So I'm going to select this last one. I'm going to hit action, change time, and I'm going to make it say 5:30 p.m. And it's important to note, and you'll see here in a second, you always want to make sure it's the right PM or AM, because that'll mess up your times when you go to send them in. That's why you want to write them separate so that it's a memory cue. So 5:30. So you'll notice down here at the bottom it's changed to clock out time. I want to go to the next clock out time, which is the red one. And I'm going to change it to say 12:30. And PM. Hit select. So now you'll note that it's up here at 12:30. I'm going to march through these ends one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting with that top one there. So I'm going to select this one, hit action, change time. It's 7 o'clock. 7 a.m. Hit select. Go to the next clock in, action, change time. It's 7:30 a.m. Hit select. Go to the next one, change time. It's at 10:30 a.m. Select. Change the next one. Its time is 1 o'clock. PM. Select. Change the last one. Its time is 4 o'clock. PM. Hit select. Okay, now I've changed all the times, and if you look, 7 o'clock, 7:30, 10:30, 12:30 clock out, 1 o'clock clock in, 4 o'clock clock in, 5:30 clock out, and that matches over here next to the left. So now what I want to do is I want to go through here and check, and go down through the last list and check them one more time and make sure the equipment's right, because I know I'm going to have to adjust the equipment units. So let's start out at the top here. Shop, safety meeting, no equipment. Right here, shop, safety meeting, no equipment. That's correct. So I'm going to unselect that and select the next one. Let's see. Next one is footings with 4 or 5 Caterpillar, but there's no units here. So I'm going to hit action, set units, and it was for 1 hour. Over here to the right, you'll see it was 1 hour. So I'm going to hit 1 and hit done. Now if I select that again, you will see that the unit's been changed to 1 and it's still footings on the 405 Caterpillar. And then go to the next one. The next one's curbs, no equipment. That's correct. So I'll unselect that, select the next one. Next one's a clock out. That one's okay. I'll select the next one. Next one is footings with the trencher. There's no units here. I come over here. It says that there was 1 hour. So I'm going to hit actions, set units, 1, done. If I select it again, you'll note that it's been corrected. Go to unselect that one, select the next one. This one has the backhoe. I need to change the units here. The units were 1.5. So I'm going to hit action, set units, 1.5, hit done. Look at it again. Yep, it's been changed. Unselect that, select the last ones, just to clock out. So I should be, in reviewing this, going through this, it appears that I now have it matching the spreadsheet, and the next piece will be completing the field notes.